What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the KindaFunny podcast. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside the second best baby blues in all of San Francisco, maybe California, Mr. Tim Geddes.
Let Tim host. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing
Good.
well.
Good. Happy to be here with you. The energy's already. I'm feeling a vibe from you, and
it's gonna go. It's gonna go. I'm just waiting until we can talk about toaster strudels. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys right now, okay? Because we brought it up in the pre, and I want to know everyone's opinions on it before I do it. Of course, it is Christmas in the tail end of August. Joey Noel joining us as well.
Oh yeah, I guess it is August. Do you actually like toaster strudels, or are you
Nobody likes toaster strudels? Nobody does. It's a
I think
myth.
that's fair. I don't.
On the ones and twos, the big dog Kevin Coelho.
I like toaster strudels. They're just like a rich man's like breakfast food, right?
Oh, we
Like an
have
Andy
had
thing?
this
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, it's not. It's
I
not
can't
like
imagine
every day.
not liking them.
Yeah, I mean they're delicious. Yeah, they're fancy.
I think
like,
they're too.
sizzling on
they're
top.
too
Should we start
soft.
this over? This is one of those podcasts where I'm like, we're gonna keep going with this.
Roll with it, baby.
Let's
Let's
get a roll
go.
with it, ladies and gentlemen. And a special guest today, joining us for the first time on a piece of KindaFunny content, Mr. Cooper Bibaud. Thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you very much. I got no opinions on toasted goods.
But you have
But,
a toast. But see, as the
I do
one,
have
this is why I'm gonna call you a faker.
He asked you not to bring
This
it
is
up.
why-
It's the one thing he asked.
This is why I'm gonna call you a faker, because out of all of us, you're the only person that has a toaster in his shop.
It's just for podcast appearances only. It's fake.
I'd love for you to be like, you looked at this camera. Of course, you're a film and video professional. I would love it if you looked at your shot and were like, I just need something over my right shoulder. Maybe I'm thinking a bottle of wine, a half-used roll of paper towels,
Yeah.
and a white toaster. No. An off-white toaster. Done.
They're also in like height declining order as well.
Of course they
which-
are. You know why? Because, I mean, you're a pretty tall guy, but that makes you look taller in the shot.
Oh yeah,
Everything
exactly.
peaks
It's
out.
giving you a nice like send up of like, oh damn.
Exactly.
Just like ray of light somewhere around my head. Where is it? Right here. It's like I'm in the clouds right now.
Yeah,
so-
it's perfect. It's very it's very
Jessica.
early to mid to
Angelic.
late J.J. Abrams. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is a KindaFunny podcast where each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather around these microphones, each to just shoot the proverbial shit. A couple housekeeping things for you guys. Hey, guess what? Game of Thrones is back, and we may or may not be all in. Go over and check out our screencast of that. We had about 45 minutes talking about the premiere of Game of Thrones. Cooper, are you in? Where are you at with Game of Thrones right now?
Never seen it ever. I'm sorry.
Smart.
There's dozens of us. Thank you very much.
What?
But I do.
You've never seen
But
Game
I
of
do
Thrones,
love-
Joey?
No.
No.
But, oh, wait.
No,
Tim, stop
I
the podcast.
I know. I know.
so here's the thing. I do feel very sad for Game of Thrones folks after having to deal with the last season, but there is a little teeny tiny part of me that's like, like now everybody can stop telling me to watch the show that's so great because everybody hates it because of the last season. So
We should still watch it.
It's fair. It's still really, really good. It's still definitely worth watching. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're also doing a couple other series that are super fun. We're doing She-Hulk and Rocky. Right now, we're reviewing both of those as we go. The whole Rocky franchise in review. It's one of my favorite things ever. And last week's Rocky 4 was so fun. The energy was, dare I say, infectious, to the point where I think if you put us all in a ring, we could have beat Russia and ended whatever the newest Cold War is going that we're heading
Cold War
towards
II.
right now. Shout out to our Patreon producers, Fargo Brady, David Huizenga, Nathan Lamoth, Delaney Twining, Nat Vu, and Gordon McGuire. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. If you want to be a Patreon producer, go over to patreon.com/KindaFunny and back us over on those tiers. You get all sorts of cool stuff. Like I read your name right for the first time in 6 months. And you get access to our post show, which we're going to be doing with Cooper after this, talking exclusively about how much we hate Greg Miller. Today, we're brought to you by MeUndies, but we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Tim Geddes.
I know that we've already talked approximately 1,000 times too much about Cooper's background right now, but it does remind me of a amazing moment in history. I would just say, a couple of years ago, NVIDIA, the graphics card company, revealed their the 3080 line and all that stuff, and they had the CEO of
I got a
NVIDIA.
3090.
It was like in the beginning of the pandemic area, right? So he was instead of being on a stage like they normally do, he was standing in his kitchen with like a stove behind him, and like it looked very similar to this, you know. And throughout the event, it was me, Fran, and Kevin, I want to say, that, and Andy, that were live reacting to it. We kept looking in the background, being like, "Is that what the graphics card is? Like, is that what's going on?" And then he would pull things off the desk and be like, "Look, it's the graphics card." And we were like, "Oh my god, he actually did the thing!" But then we kept joking that I bet the big one is going to be in the stove. And motherfuckers, it was. He opened the stove and it blew our minds. Like, it was just like the dumbest thing ever. So anyway, Cooper, your background reminds me of that great moment in history.
God, that was just a time. Do you think they'll ever go back to that vibe, Tim, when they do stuff with NVIDIA now? This multi-billion-dollar corporation.
Maybe.
Do you think they'll pull graphics cards out of ovens? Is that what you're asking specifically?
That's what I'm at. My question is, do you think they'll ever go back to that vibe of being like, you know what, it seems to work back in 2021 when the new 30s came out. Maybe we'll just keep this chill vibe. It's not worth answering this question, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the I got the boring version of Phil Spencer's background right now.
Exactly. Is there a new wine reveal coming up?
Cooper, for people who don't know you, just for context, you were part of a project a while back called Heel Kick, and that is how you came to us. You and Danny Mac were basically the creators of that film. You both starred in it. You both wrote it. You both marketed it across the entire country and your country and everyone else's country. And it did pretty well for you. And you're working on something new now that we're going to talk about in a little bit. How have you been, man?
Pretty good. I mean, the true origin story, actually, I don't know if you guys even know this, but way back before you guys were officially Kind of Funny, Dan and I flew Greg Miller up to Vancouver for a charity tournament. And that's where he actually kind of met us and met like the Filthy Casual guys and all that kind of stuff. And that's where we planted the seeds of all this fun stuff that was to come. And
you made that magic happen. Tim, what were you going to say?
It was the Mario Kart tournament, right?
Yeah.
I remember it was like 2014.
Yeah. Do you guys start in 2015?
We left
January,
in 2015. Yeah. So,
okay, yeah.
Man, I remember that from the other end. We got to stay home. I didn't get to go.
It was so funny though, because when we reached out to him to fly him up, he responded like immediately. He was like, "Yeah, I'll come." He had no idea who we were. We didn't have like any website at all. And when we gave him the address to his hotel, and it was literally like 1, 2, 3, 4 like Highway Lane. It was like the most made up sounding address of all time, and he just trusted us. And
dude, there was a beautiful moment from like I would say 2013 to like the beginning of 2016 where like if someone reached out to us and had an idea that made us laugh even a little bit, we're like, fuck it, why not, let's go. Like all the early conventions we went to was kind of funny. Like it blows my mind to think of some of the places we went to do the things we were asked to do there. MomoCon comes to mind when we all went to Atlanta and we just hung out, and me and Nick met the Coca-Cola polar bear. Like it was a wild time, man.
I don't usually get starstruck, Joey.
Yeah.
But the Coca-Cola polar bear, that one got me. I had to give that thing a hug. That was when I was like, I think hugging's gonna be my thing. You met Santa?
No, the Coca-Cola polar bear has met Santa.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
True.
That is a huge deal.
For Santa.
So you guys, I mean, the last time I saw you, I think we were up in Vancouver, right? We grabbed drinks.
The Couve.
Man.
When we were at that meet and greet.
Yeah, I got to tell a quick story about the last time I saw you, actually.
Sure.
It's one of those. Do you guys ever get like embarrassed so hard that like a year later in the shower you'll think about it and like get embarrassed all over again? It's not a big deal, but it's not the biggest deal. But I think of this, it haunts me so many, like twice a year that it'll come back to haunt me. But Nick, you came and hung out with us for a couple drinks one night, and I was tasked with walking you back to your hotel. I don't even know if you remember this, but I took you on. Your hotel was probably like 4 minutes from the bar we were at. And I'm like, oh, I know where it is. I'll just take you there. I ended up walking you like an hour and a half away from your hotel.
I remember that now.
And you're like, I'm pretty sure it's that way. I'm like, no, I got this. And I walked you so far. you ended up having to get like A&W just to ration yourself up again. And yeah, it was
Let's be
terrible.
perfectly honest. I was gonna get
I felt
A&W no matter what.
Either way.
Because we don't have those here. Actually, I guess we do have those here, but I don't have one accessible to me. And so in that little downtown Vancouver area, there was always like one right across from the hotel we'd stay at. Oh man, it's so freaking good. I miss Vancouver.
Wait,
let's go
A&W is
back.
not a. A&W is not a. Is that not an American?
It is. It's not. It's just not very prevalent in.
Ah.
I don't think it's very prevalent in California. We have a couple up here that
No.
I know of.
There's
I know
one
a
in
couple
Marin.
And I
Yeah.
think there's one. I think there's one far up in like Napa, up by
There used to be,
Taylor's
Kev.
Refresh.
Let me know if it's still there. There
Taylor's
used to be
Refresher.
one near the new studio, actually. Like, well, not too far from the new
No.
studio. Like,
It's much further down, but that one is still there. I think that down in the mid peninsula.
yeah, little.
Interesting.
Does Kevin sound like he's calling from talking from a call center right now?
Do I sound weird to you guys?
Yeah, you sound
Yeah,
like you're like a
100%.
camera mic of some sort.
Oh, it probably switched over to the camera mic. All right, no one freak out.
I'm not freaking
We're
out
just
at all.
looking at
It's
the
this
right
is just
place.
a
Yeah,
normal.
I kind of feel like you're freaking out.
I'm not freaking out. I'm.
Do you think-
I'm cool as ice right now?
Do you think
homeboy.
Kevin's talking to us from an A&W like speaker?
He's on
Or
the
I
way.
feel like Kevin's talking
drive-through?
to us from his car sometimes. Like every once in a while, I'll be on the Discord with Snowbike Mike, and he'll be like, and he just won't say anything. He'll go away for a second and come back on his phone, and he thinks he's being quiet, but it sounds like he's throwing his phone down a staircase and chewing gum at the same time. That's
Just to
kinda
be
what it
clear,
sounds
I've
like.
never once thought I was being quiet.
That's fair. That's not Kevin's
I'm
nom de
very
plume.
realistic with the amount of noise I generate.
That is true.
It's
Yeah.
true. That's not. If Kevin were to do a resume of like strengths and weaknesses,
Mhm.
all
Is
the
that better?
strengths would be like, that's way
Yes.
better.
Okay, dope.
You know, technical strengths, internet, Discord, video, all this stuff. Weaknesses, sound, just pure volume.
When I was
sound.
hired, I was like, "Hey, just a heads up, I had a firework explosion incident, and one of my ears isn't great, so I'm not good at audio." And you guys were like, "Great, just make sure to dial in the audio on the soundboard." And I was like, "Oof, like I'm getting
Oof.
anxiety about this."
It's
I feel
fine.
like
It worked
it's
out.
rare that Kevin says something that I don't have any context for. Or maybe it's not that rare. What is this firework explosion thing that you
I
just
live
talked
in
about?
I living in an area with like a lot of Asian people, so like they take Chinese New Year's very seriously. So they do the
Uh-huh.
the
Who
like the little tiny
The red
red,
ones.
yeah. And like they party hard. So
Yeah.
the day after Chinese New Year, all the kids go out there with sparklers to find all of the like little red explosion things that didn't go off, because a bunch of them with the force they'll like fling out,
Oh,
and then
because they're like
you
came together, yeah.
yeah, and you find a little wick, and then you get it started. But like the wicks are always really small because they weren't meant to be loose like that. So once I had a thing with the sparkler where I was like, I sneaked in there and I was like, I'm gonna get it, and it like I didn't have enough time to walk away, and it exploded, and I had ringing in my ear for like 2 years.
How
And
old
then
were
eventually
you?
when
Just
it
for context?
like
34.
12, maybe 10, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And then yeah, my like one of my ears have never really recovered, Joey. It never recovered.
That's so I feel
Well,
like
God
it's
gave you
rare
two.
that there's like a core Kevin thing like that I am unaware
Oh yeah,
of.
that was one of those one beautiful moments where we were just like, Kevin was like, I should not be the one. You didn't say you shouldn't be the one, but you were like,
definitely said
fair
that.
warning.
I
This is
said I
not
should
my
not be
strong
the one.
suit.
Yeah, I was like,
And
sound
me
is
and
different.
Greg and Tim and Colin were like, eh. And it just
Yeah,
worked.
yeah.
We were just like,
And
"Eh,
then,
it's fine, it'll
and then
be
like
fine."
6 months in, everyone had to sit me down and be like, hey, you have to be better about like listening to the audio because it's not great. And I was like, guys, I like specifically told you I have a problem with this. Can you set
Uh-huh.
it?
Uh-huh.
Can you set it?
And we were like, ah.
You'll learn in time. We just got better
Oh,
equipment.
man.
That's the
It's
trick.
true. We got better equipment and better headphones. You've been doing great. Our audio is pretty on point. I'm excited for the audio.
Well, I mean, that was when the
whenever.
soundboard was the guitar mic, that guitar amp. Remember?
The Yamaha amp.
Anyway.
With six dials. I have it over here somewhere.
Yeah, the ones where for whatever reason, when it gets like after about 3 or 4 years, the rubbers, the oils and the rubbers start to break down, and everything just gets sticky. So
Gross,
anytime
yeah,
you touch
so sticky.
Ew.
it just gets so fucking
So
sticky.
sticky.
It's fun.
Speaking of sticky,
Wait. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I don't know. I just wanted to segue.
Oh, I was gonna talk. Like, I'm a big fan of heel kick. I just want to say that real quick.
Oh,
Flipping
nice.
Oh, I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan of Heel Kick.
I really enjoyed that movie so much. I think I own it on like a weird app that like it was like
iTunes.
available. Yeah, I think it was iTunes. Yeah, and I don't like I say iTunes, which is one of the biggest
weird app.
But Tim, you understand? iTunes for me is really weird for me to
Yeah,
have something
it's
on
true.
iTunes.
Now that I know
what-
your hatred of Max, it's a huge honor to know.
Oh my god, my hatred of
Kevin
Max
hates
is
Apple.
well
Kevin
known.
won't even. Fun fact: Kevin won't even eat donuts anymore because Apple has that big donut corporate headquarters, and Kevin's like, not for me anymore.
Not until we take it
Reminds
back.
him.
Cooper, how has your life changed since the release of Heel Kick? Well, first off, tell everyone what Heel Kick was. If you're not familiar, if you're a new fan of ours and we haven't talked about this enough, please tell people what Heel Kick was and how it came about.
So Heel Kick was a mockumentary that Danny Mac put together. Just follows two backyard wrestlers who try to go pro, but they're idiots, so it doesn't really go that well for them. We always write and act in all of our movies together, and so we were two of the three leads in that movie. It was our second feature film that we did, and with the help of Greg, we were able to premiere it across the U.S. and Canada, and just get a bunch of the best friends out to all the screenings. So they really packed those out the best they could, and we just had a good time. We did Q&As after all the screenings. And then when we did release finally on iTunes, we were #1 in North America, which is really cool. It's always a fun line to say that we beat out Star Wars and Thor Ragnarok. I always brag about that all the time.
Hacks those movies.
And you guys really helped us out, get to put the word out for that movie. And we always get comments. Even to this day, people will find it and then send us a message saying they really thought it was funny. And so we're pretty proud of that one. And that movie kind of springboarded us into the one we just did called Bulletproof. The director of that movie saw Heel Kick and he thought he would get, I don't know why, but us to write an action movie.
Right.
But all movies are always better with jokes in them, I find, especially action movies. So I think he saw the potential in us just writing together a fun movie, because Bulletproof is just like a fun, silly popcorn flick, and I think he just wanted to have make something that people could just have a good time with. So that's kind of a nutshell version of things.
And so you guys have been working on stuff between Heel Kick and that, right? Like you guys have been doing a lot of scripts and various other projects. You've been acting in a few things as well.
Yeah, we're always auditioning throughout the weeks. We're always trying to put together our own things. We've written a couple scripts. Hopefully, we've learned from Heel Kick that the reason we couldn't really get that into the next tier, like on streaming services, that we had no names in it at all. And so when James, the director of Bulletproof, came to us, he had made a bunch of films himself for the last like 10 years or so, and we were always very blown away and impressed by his production value and just the business side of things that he did. Especially, he was always packaging actual actors you've heard of, even on like low or like lower tiers, you've at least heard of them before. It wasn't just him and his friends goofing around on cameras like we did. And so we thought, like, combining those two worlds, his production value, his business sense, and our storytelling, we thought we could come together and make kind of probably our biggest picture together, which it was. So Bulletproof is definitely both of our biggest projects we've ever done. And he brought on Vinnie Jones as well as our name. And that
the fucking juggernaut.
Yeah, the juggernaut. Yeah. I don't know. I'm jumping around a lot here, but it's I don't know.
No, that's cool. I mean,
there.
obviously, I'm sure people have said this before, and I'm sure you probably roll your eyes like, yeah, it's not that fucking, it's not as easy as that, Scarpino, get your shit together. But it's shocking to me that like Netflix or Amazon or any of these services didn't want to pick up because most mockumentaries suck. And they suck so bad that you want to turn them off in the first second. But this one has legit laughs. It's got heart. It's very well done. And it's so funny to me because, like, with the sheer dearth of, I'll say it, crap content that's been put out on streaming services like Netflix lately, I'm shocked that they wouldn't see this and be like, please.
Why not
put
our
this on.
crap? Why not?
Exactly, right? I'm trying to get this podcast on. I'm doing his best. But like, did you guys ever get to that point with them where you were like, here he is, and they're like, well, we're just not gonna go forward with you, or is it even harder than that?
We had talks with Netflix. They just didn't seem. The two main things were they usually only like to work with filmmakers who have distribution behind them, because what they like to do is they take like 2 or 3 of your project at a time rather than just taking one random movie. And the fact that we had no name, those two things seem to work against us.
That's so weird,
Whereas,
I think it's also a different time then too, compared to like the way that stuff's being put out now. Like I don't know that they were making as much original, or not even necessarily original content, but like smaller stuff.
Yeah,
and it
this
was
might have
just,
been
like, a
prior to
library.
when
The
they started
Stranger
importing
Thing-
everything from every other country and just being like, please God, stay on our platform, watch something.
The strangest thing about it was that we had just wrapped it up and we're pushing it out just as Glow came out, and we thought that would be such a perfect companion piece. Like
so good.
when
Oh my
Glow
God, it
ends,
would've
like
been.
check out Heel Kick, and like I don't know, it seemed like a no-brainer to us. I think a lot of people, especially familiar with Fubar or Trailer Park Boys, any of that kind of stuff, I think people would have ate it up. But yeah,
Little did you know that everyone that loved Glow was about to get the fun surprise they were just going to randomly cancel Glow.
yeah.
Such
Like,
bullshit,
I don't
man.
understand.
Still heartbroken about it.
Dude, especially how I was like, wow, this show's going in a totally different direction. They're in Vegas. They're doing this thing. It's like, I'm really looking forward to the next season. And they were like, oh, guess what, Scarpino? We hate everything you love except for Stranger Things. Stranger
I'm
Things
still
is so
hopeful we'll get a
incredible.
movie one day.
A Glow movie.
I think we might get like a Glow movie just to tie it all together. But
I would love
I don't
that.
know.
I would like another season of Glow. I don't understand
Be
why they
great.
don't do that. I know Netflix is hurting right now, or at least trying to reconfigure some stuff on their side. But Netflix, if you're watching, A, buy Heel Kick. B, give me my 10% commission for talking you into buying Heel Kick. And C, give us another season of Glow. Those are my demands.
Why not combine them somehow? Let's like get Heel Kick to be in like the cinematic universe of Glow. Like I feel like that wouldn't make sense, but like fuck it, you know.
You could make it work.
Decades later,
Little time travel. Yeah.
I mean, technically, every single thing that's made about wrestling builds into the mythos of wrestling, right? So
If
I've never watched a wrestling thing before. I don't understand how that works.
If people do want to watch Heel Kick, we actually put it up for free on YouTube. So just search Heel Kick. It's on YouTube for free now, so you can go check it out. And,
I was trying to give you guys some money, but it's okay. Everyone, Venmo Cooper $5 if you watch that for free on YouTube, and Venmo me my 50 cents for my 10% commission on that. So how then? So you guys just randomly? I mean, so they reached out to you guys and they were like, "Hey, we want you to write this movie." And how closely were you working on it? Did you just do like a draft of it, or were you there kind of the whole time?
Yeah, so we were at the very inception of it. He originally wanted to do a more of like a mystery thriller kind of thing. He had done about 10 years of horror films and he was sick of doing that, and he wanted to do a completely different genre. And we actually wrote an entire outline for this movie for him, this murder one. And then he took that back to his studio, and they were saying, you know what, this is a little bit mystery and a little bit action. It's a little bit of a couple different things. If we're going to have action, they want to commit to it 100%. And so they asked him to take it back to us and completely redo it from the ground up as like a straight up like 100% action movie. And so we had to start over completely from scratch after working on that for like 3 months. And then he was like, all it needs to have is basically make it one long car chase. And he gave us a list of things like, it has to have an explosion. It's got to have 3 fist fights. It's got to have this. So he just had like a laundry list of action scenes.
Basically, he's like, I need these for the trailer. You need to just
honestly,
make sure these are in here.
That's funny.
This guy's awesome.
And-
He's smart.
No,
like a
he's
Tim
great
Geddes
to work
Asmine.
with.
His name was Michael Bay.
Yeah, awesome.
But no, he was awesome. He just kind of sent us loops on that, and Dan and I wrote for a long time on that one. The tricky part was that we didn't know which name we were going to have in the movie, but he had like a group of names that he felt comfortable pursuing within the budget that we had, and he would often like have us tailor the script completely towards certain actors. So that part was really challenging. We would almost have to rewrite entire characters or plot line just to like tailor to someone else's flavor of.
Wait, can you give us a for instance, or would you rather not say? I don't want to put you in a weird spot, but I mean, I'm looking at Vinnie Jones. He's a very bald, intimidating person. I'm guessing there's a couple other names that pop into mind, maybe like a Liam Neeson or a Bruce Willis or something like that.
He had like there was, and it wasn't always for part too, but the other names for other
Uh-oh, we lost you.
Um,
Muted. There we go. He's
And
back.
am I muted?
Say that
Nope,
one more
you're
time.
good.
Sorry, we just lost you. You cut out for a sec.
There were other names, not even just for his character, but we had Ving Rhames and Van Damme floating around for the movie as well.
God damn it! If you end up writing a movie for Jean-Claude Van Damme and you get to hang out on set, I'm coming.
Or
I just want to come.
Ving Rhames? Are you kidding me?
Ving Rhames,
Yeah,
Ving Rhames is a badass too. Ving Rhames, I always love seeing him pop up and stuff, and I look forward to his return in the Mission Impossible franchise because that is the best franchise ever made, and he's an awesome character. I just want, on the odd chance that Ving is watching this, you're the shit, and you know it.
Oh, he's watching.
And Pulp Fiction scared the shit out of me because of you. That's so cool though. So, and you guys were with the project the entire time. Were you actually there when they were shooting it? Did you stay with it the whole time?
Yeah. So another part of this whole thing is that we didn't know we were going to get picked up by Lionsgate at this time. This was more of a smaller project, and so Dan and I wrote acting roles in the movie for ourselves.
Yes, you did.
Just why not? And
you're like, who are these two lead characters named Cooper and Danny? And you're like, I mean, we got the guys.
Why are they always kissing Van Damme? That's so
why is this movie just an hour and a half of Jean-Claude Van Damme references?
So we wrote those parts, and then once we found out that Lionsgate actually picked up the movie, we were like, oh, we're never going to get to keep our parts. But somehow they let us keep everything. So we're in the movie. So we're on set. We did our parts.
And, I didn't know that. What do you guys play in the movie?
So Danny Mac plays Vinnie Jones's like main side like henchman guy. So he's in the movie like the whole time.
Oh, this is awesome.
He plays, his name's Skinny. He's like a very like psychotic, cold killer type of guy. Okay. And then I play a crackhead in the movie as well. Who
congratulations, man! We made it.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
It was cool because we were like, I had to like decide like, should I try to write a part that is like throughout the movie but not a big part, or should I give myself a nice meaty like focused scene but I'm only in it for a bit? So I opted for that, and I'm pretty happy with it. It turned out really cool. People always have been giving me some good feedback on it and everything, and yeah, it's awesome seeing yourself obviously in a movie. So.
Looking through the trailer right now. Are either of you guys in the trailer right now?
Danny Mac is. He looks quite different.
Is he in the blonde?
He dyed his
like
hair.
Blonde,
yeah,
right?
Shut up.
Blondes.
He's in every shot. That's why I didn't notice him. I swear to God, I swear to God, I did some research beforehand. I did watch this trailer beforehand. But Danny's so distinctly different. Like, oh my God, that is. He's got a face tattoo.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Oh man, that's crazy.
Oh my God, that's Danny.
He's got a cool shot in the trailer somewhere where he's firing a gun near the end. It looks pretty cool.
I fucking love Danny so much because he just shows up randomly. Like the amount of times I've been watching like The Bachelor on ABC, and there's like a random ass commercial for something I've never heard of, and I'm like, that's fucking Danny Mac in an elevator. Like, and like it's so wild.
This is gonna be an odd reference, but I feel like the old guy who sells brakes in Tommy Boy. Whenever Danny pops on things, I'll be like, it's my friend Danny. He sells me brakes. Then I just change the channel.
He's gonna be in the new. He's gonna be in the new Grease show. He's like in almost every episode.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
The Grease show, is that what you said, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
Grease, the Rise of the Pink Ladies.
That's so cool, Joe. We talked about that a while back on one of the podcasts. I'm very, very excited about that. Does he get to keep the face tattoo, or was that something that was just a makeup?
You'll have to watch.
I'll have to watch. Man, that's so cool. Well, congratulations, man. I'm super excited. And this movie's out already, right? It came out.
Yeah, it came out in select theaters on the 19th. It's gonna have, I think, just like a week or so run in theaters. You can get it on Apple and Amazon Prime, and then it'll head to streaming services and Blu-ray in about a month or so, I think.
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so cool, man. Well, congratulations.
You made it to streaming, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, finally did it.
Yeah.
We should just like sneak heel kick at the end of the movie. It just like keeps playing.
Yeah.
It's just like this. And now a special sneak preview of the It's the whole fucking movie. Like people are like, why is the extended cut of this film 4 hours long?
Why did the credits start halfway through this movie?
So does this get you guys in a little bit with Lionsgate? Like, do you feel like that's because Lionsgate cranks out movies, man. That could be like tons of work for you guys.
Yeah, there's some funny stories about the director taking the movie down to them. I don't even know to talk about it, but I do know I can say they've greenlit a sequel to the movie. I've already finished writing the sequel as well, so we're already.
Wow, does Danny know?
Oh yeah, he knows.
I'm joking. I'm just teasing. I mean, let's be honest.
But
We gotta cut the dead weight here. Tim and I can dye. I mean, I can dye my hair more blonde, and Tim can dye his hair less blonde. We can be the henchmen on the next one.
I can
That's a
see
good
it.
one, Nick.
Thank you. That's awesome.
We're-
So
yeah.
so how does that? So is that like a short thing, or they're just like, hey, let's get this going now and just see what it's like?
I mean, I guess never say never, but yeah, the sequel is happening 100% for sure, from what I can tell. The cool thing though too is that, you know, Dan and I, we have our own goals that we want to do with movies we want to make as well, and so we weren't expecting the sequel news, and we were talking to James, and we were like, the director, and we were like, hey, you know, I don't know if we can go right into doing a sequel right now because we kind of want to write our own stuff, and so we worked out a really great deal where I wrote the sequel to Bulletproof myself, and Dan and I worked together on a story for a movie that stars us that they're going to be packaging with this one. So now we get 2 movies together.
That's awesome.
Everyone's happy. So there's going to be 2 movies in this deal for us, and one of them we're going to be the stars of. So that's amazing. Yeah.
Are you the
Dude,
characters
so cool.
from Bulletproof in this movie? Is it the Hobbs and Shaw of the Bulletproof universe?
Oh man, we missed the capital.
I'm telling you right now, everything's. Listen, if I know anything about 2019, it is that cinematic universes are all in vogue right now. They're all in vogue. Are you a little regretting the fact that you didn't write yourself a recurring character in this now burgeoning franchise that is Bulletproof? You could be the crackhead in like 800 movies.
Yeah, we both thought that's kind of. I didn't want to give any spoilers out, but that's sort of why I'm less excited to do the sequel, because we're like, well, spoiler alert, we both die in the first movie, obviously. So we're not as excited to write. We were like, we're not super excited to write the sequel because we want to be in it. So we were like, if you could let us write one where we're, you know, the leads of it, and we just begged him, and he's like, yeah, okay, we can do that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so.
That's really
So
cool.
dope.
Oh man, that's exciting. I'm excited to see what both. I mean, I'm excited to watch Bulletproof first off, and we'll see Bulletproof 2, and then we'll see whatever the new. Do you have a title for the new one? Can you share any details on that, or are you not saying what that movie is going to be yet?
Bulletproof.
I can't yet, but the name for the second one are so amazing and really cool. So as soon as I'm allowed to talk about it, I'll let you know. And yeah, it's pretty exciting to see where we're springboarding from this first one.
Very cool. Well, we will have you back on when the next one comes out, and the next one after that, because it's really, really fun to live vicariously through you. You guys are very talented, and it's cool.
Nick, one day you can have a toaster in the back.
Yes, Nick. Yes.
You can do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
I just want, honestly, one day all I want is like one line of one of your movies. I just want to be no, I don't even need like give me that short guy or whatever. But I just, like, here, let me audition for
That
you
short
right now.
guy.
Listen, the car. Here's the scene. Tim, close your eyes. Joey, keep your eyes open. Car chase. Cars are going by fast. I'm walking out of the Starbucks with my venti iced coffee, and a car almost hits me. And I go, "Hey!"
What the?
And you were in it, right? You were like,
watching the sequel? How did you get my?
I don't know, man. I got them all day long. I got all these ideas, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get to the rest of my ideas, let's take a break to tell you about our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by MeUndies. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes. I love MeUndies. It is very rare, if ever, that you'll see me not wearing MeUndies head to toe. I'm wearing the MeUndies shirt. I'm wearing the MeUndies lounge shorts. I'm wearing the MeUndies socks. I'm wearing the MeUndies undies. Of course I am. Everyone knows MeUndies for their super soft undies and comfy bralettes, but did you know that they make other stuff too? They have daily tees, shorts, rompers that add a little silky softness to your everyday. They even make hoodies for your dog. You know that Toretto and Moose be rocking those as well. MeUndies is your destination for all things soft and sustainable. For any first-time purchasers, you get 20% off plus free shipping and returns. To get 20% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny. You're not going to regret it. You're going to love MeUndies, just like I do. MeUndies.com/kindafunny.
All right, we're back. I got a softball question for you guys right now.
Soft to
Coming
soft.
over from the patrons over on patreon.com/kindafunny. Remember, if you back us over there, you can write questions in and we will answer those questions to the best of our ability. Mr. Hawks, or Hoax, depending on how you want to say it. I think it's Hawks 182 says, question for Nick, since he's older than everyone else on this episode combined. How in the fuck did anyone in your generation believe that the voices of Milli Vanilli were actually coming out of Milli and or Vanilli? What was going on back then that you needed to believe in that in something that outlandish?
Nick, real quick, I'm getting your call is kind of like clipping in and out. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just on my end? No, it's just on
Sounds good
my
to
end.
me. Yeah.
That's not great. That's not great. Okay.
Oh, it's buffering bad. Everyone says. How is it now, guys? Live chat. How's it looking?
Now it's really good.
Yes, no.
I mean,
Fantastic.
I was able to hear everything. I like, yeah. Sorry.
Cool.
To answer your question, Mr. Hawk, first off, does anyone, Cooper, I don't know how old you are. You seem pretty young. Does anyone remember Milli Vanilli other than me?
I know
I was-
about
I
them
was gonna say,
anecdotally.
Yeah, I've heard that like those sounds before, but I don't even know what
In
god
that order?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Milli Vanilli for two reasons, Nick. One, the hit show I Love the 80s,
Yes.
which is what taught me pretty much everything about your life, Nick. And then two, it was when Ashley Simpson pulled a Milli Vanilli on Saturday Night Live in the early
Yes.
2000s, and everyone said she pulled a Milli Vanilli, and that's when I reverted back to the Cooper thing of like, I guess I've heard those words before, but I couldn't name a Milli Vanilli song. And like, I've never myself looked into them singing to know whether or not they're lip syncing. I just trusted it. I just assumed that people were telling me the truth, that they were in fact frauds.
They were in fact frauds. Joey, what is your context for the Mill and Vanille?
I think it's that thing where I like anecdotally know that they pretended to sing things that they weren't actually singing, but that's like I don't know how they got exposed. I don't know any details beyond that.
Yes. So I don't know how they got exposed. I can't remember that, and we can look that up. But Milli Vanilli was a very famous group of two gentlemen who used to dance. They wore a lot of spandex bike shorts. It was like back when in the 80s when bike shorts were pretty big, early 90s, late 80s. And they sang a song famously called Blame It on the Rain, which I loved. I loved Milli Vanilli back in the day. And for whatever reason, the producers of them decided we love these guys' look and we like how they dance, but they can't sing. So we'll just dub over the vocals of them singing in these songs with other artists and we'll just pass them off. And they just thought at no point were they ever going to get found out. And of course, this is before the internet, before Twitter, before anything. And dumb kids like me were like, yeah, I buy that 100%. It doesn't help that a lot of people used to lip sync a lot back then for like live performances and stuff. And I don't know if I don't think they do that so much anymore. Maybe they do, but like when they would go on TV or when they would do like live performances at like a football game or whatever, you would just it was kind of common. You'd be like, oh, they're lip syncing, but that's just because they don't want to sing or they want it to sound good or whatever. It didn't occur to any of us that it was not the two people. Everyone just thought, oh, they went to a studio, they recorded the vocals, but because it wasn't, it also was pretty common for bands that were live, that weren't live bands, to be kind of shitty sounding, so that they would just lip sync their stuff. But yeah, it turned out they were just complete frauds. And then they tried to make a comeback and sing their own things, and everyone's like, you guys cannot do this. It was a weird time.
They came back as Rob and Fab, which is like, yo, good for you guys. You go from Milli Vanilli to Rob and Fab. Like, I think those are both powerful duo names.
First off, I mean, it was heartbreaking, though. I'll be honest with you guys, because Milli Vanilli had
Nick
Milli Vanilli could go the distance. Look at I was a fucking fan, okay, and I was like, they could go the distance for sure. These guys are going to be around forever, and it was just the first time I left. I was like, man, the mainstream media, just the music industry, has lied to me.
This goes deeper than I knew it did. So they became one of the most popular pop acts in the late 80s and early 90s with millions of records sold. However, their success turned to infamy when it was discovered that Morvan and Pilatus did not sing any of the vocals on their music releases. They ended up returning their Grammy Award for Best New Artist.
Yeah. They didn't do it. They didn't sing it.
Yeah, but why? I didn't realize they won a Grammy for it.
It's weird, though, because in my brain, I'm like, why don't you just get the guys that sang to just be Milli Vanilli now? Like, it's got to be two other people, but maybe they just weren't as marketable. I mean, if you look up look up a picture of Milli Vanilli right now. They are very distinctive looking gentlemen who had a look to them. We'll just put it that way. That was very much like marketable, I would say. At least it was.
You're right. They should have just brought the other two guys back, started a whole boy band, just have Milli and Vanilli and Rob and Fab or whatever, exactly. And then have two of them sing and two of them dance.
Oh man. It was a weird time. Unlike Ashley Simpson. The Ashley Simpson thing was weird because She was just singing her own track, though, wasn't she? Wasn't
Yeah.
that her? She can sing.
That-
She just
the
chose
problem
not to
with
sing on
her
that for
was,
some reason.
well, because it was Saturday
And then
Night
she started
Live, so
dancing,
people,
right? Yeah.
yeah, her
Devin, choose
dancing
your words
was the weird-
wisely here.
Why? Because like people get nervous to do live things like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just didn't want you talking shit on my girl Ashley Simpson.
No,
Yeah,
so this
Pieces
was really
of Me
bad.
I mean,
is a
that's
10 out of
sh-
10 album still to this day.
So can you click on the top left-hand picture here where they're in the red and the blue suits? This is what Milli Vanilli looked like. They had massive shoulder pads, and they were just the shit. They were so cool.
No massive.
And they were.
God,
Look at
the
how
shoulder
big. I mean, come
pads.
on, look at those shoulder pads, bro. They were dominant. When they got on screen, they were like, I'm just being dominated by these two guys' shoulder pads right now, and I do not mind it
You
at all. Look at this. A lot of
You telling me
spandex.
right there that wasn't them actually singing at that moment?
I
Sad.
mean,
Wow.
they're moving their mouths, and who knows if they are singing. Only the audio guy knows for sure if they were actually making audible noises through those microphones.
I love it.
It was a thing, ladies and gentlemen. It was a thing, and unfortunately, Ashley Simpson never bounced back from it. Next question.
What was the original question for that anyway?
I'm upset about it.
Was how stupid could you possibly be to think that Milli Vanilli was not fake? And we were very stupid back then. But I also wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you don't know. You don't know if Drake's really rapping. You don't know. You never know.
It was also upsetting because we never got more of the Ashley Simpson show on MTV, which was also an exciting part of pop culture in the 2000s. And
I'm going to ask a question that I think is just hot on
Upsetting.
everyone's lips right now. What happened to the Surreal Life, and why has it not made a comeback yet?
I mean,
don't
I
know
feel
if I
like
ever
it,
watched it.
it kind of just like ran its course. Like I feel like it just kept going and going. Like how many seasons of that are there? There must have been millions. Like
Apparently, there were only 6.
1,000.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
just
it
looked
kind
it
of
up.
came and went.
I easily would have guessed 12.
Nah,
It was really good, right? Like
I liked it.
oh, I loved it.
That's
yeah,
hot.
all right, good, all right.
Remember
They
when
had
she
like
would say
weird
that? That's hot.
combinations of people, and it was like, hey man, this really weirdly worked.
Wait, am I thinking about the right show? I'm thinking about the Nicole Richie.
Simple
No,
Life.
that's Simple
That's
Life.
Simple
Simple
That's
Life,
very
not
different.
Surreal Life. Sorry, I meant to say the Simple Life. What was the Surreal Life?
This real life was a bunch of celebrities, unlikely celebrities, put in one house together.
Was that the one with Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen?
Yes,
Uh,
where they
a-
fell in
and
love
it's when they got
Yeah.
a spin off from it. Yeah.
eventually.
Vern Troyer.
Like, Vern
Yeah.
Troyer was on there, and he was just
Dave
every
Coulier.
episode he would get so wasted. It would get to the point where it was sad. It was like someone needs to pull the very large bottle of vodka out of Vern Troyer's
Out of
hands.
Vern Troyer's hands. Yeah, Vern's gonna die.
Oh, and the
No, I'm
guy from
sorry.
the Brady Bunch, too.
He did
right?
die.
He
Yes,
got
Peter
like a
Brady.
bunch of.
Oh, Vern
and he
Troyer died?
fell in love with yeah, right.
Oh, R.I.P. Vern Troy. I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
I
Oh.
don't think I knew that either.
Oh, that's
He
sad.
and then the Christopher Knight started dating Adrian Curry from
yes.
The Last Model Standing or so, whatever the name of that show
yeah,
is.
she's the cosplayer. She was. We used to see her at Comic Con every once in a while. And she would just be
Oh, really?
incredible cosplays. Yeah, she loves
Yeah.
cosplay. It's crazy. The Simple Life. That's the one I'm thinking. What happened to
Hmm.
that, Tim?
It also ran its course, and they started hating each other, and there was mega beef.
Yeah.
And then,
Was there
Yeah.
beef?
Yeah.
yeah, but now
Did
I
they
mean,
ever
Paris
recover?
they, as far as I know, they haven't recovered. I mean, they might be like
so
cordial,
Nicole
but
Richie
like
was at Paris's wedding, and they had like a moment, and people were excited to see that. So I think they're better-ish.
you can
What
see
was the
that whole
beef
wedding
about?
on Peacock.
Can you really?
Yeah, she has her own show. Paris is like I forget what it's called. Being Paris, One Night in Paris, one of the two.
No, definitely
yeah.
not one night.
But
I don't think she would name the show that.
I don't think that's on Peacock.
but she does have a reality show on Peacock that like was chronicling the making of her wedding, I guess.
Wait, is that the one where that really annoying guy with the glasses talks about wrestling?
Mm.
Yeah, got it. Greg
There we
Miller,
go.
this
Come
is
on,
awesome
guys.
on
Dunking
Peacock.
Greg,
yes,
let's go.
yes.
Everyone catch up. The neurons
Yeah,
are firing. Everyone watch This Is Awesome on Peacock. It's actually an awesome show. I haven't seen it. All right, next question.
It's
comes-
actually really good.
It's really good.
As someone
I
who
know.
doesn't know anything about wrestling, does feel like I love the 90s or I love the 80s where it's just like the highlight reel of things. I think it's very interesting. I didn't know people got married in wrestling. That was a fun
Oh, yeah.
discovery for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I started watching what is that other show on Hulu? Dark Side of the Mat. Ooh.
Oh.
Good show.
know what
Real
that
good
is.
show. For that guy, actually, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in wrestling. Another question from Patreon, if we got time for it, which I think we do. This one comes from PDXVman. Says, I'm going to be asking a coworker out this week. Feelings seem mutual, but obviously if they say no, that's the end of it. But I'm 25 and I've never been on a date before. What's a good food type place I should go to? I'm probably overthinking it, but just worried about food getting me bloated / gassy or just looking messy while eating. I'm sure this is a love and sex stuff, but wanted to, this panel's opinion on essentially a good first date food. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot to
I
unpack.
love that the coworker part. I love that was awesome. I like that.
Wait, say that again. You broke up for me for 1 second on that.
It was just funny how it started off being about like the coworker part, but that was brushed aside by what should we eat? Actually, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
So there's a hard pass on any feedback we have on the coworker part. That part is like, this is set in stone, even though that's the part that I really want to talk about the most.
I mean, I will say that, I've had a very growing, changing feelings on the whole coworker dating thing in my entire life. But where I'm at in 2022, I stand by, like, I just don't think it's even worth it. You shouldn't do it. I honestly think that it's like, hey man, like the second part of the conversation, we can have fun talking about it, but like I don't think it's worth it. It's not. We're not in the shoot your shot era like that. Probably shouldn't have never been a thing, but it definitely shouldn't now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Tim. I just think it's not. It's just a bad idea. I've never been a huge fan of dating coworkers. Period, because I think there's just a lot of too many conflicting interests there. Too many putting each other in awkward and potentially just bad places. But at the same time, this is your livelihood, and this is someone else's livelihood too. So you have to respect that. But I will say, as far as the food question, and Joey, please feel free to chime in as well as Cooper. As far as the food question is concerned, I don't know what a good place would be, but I can tell you what a bad place would be. Don't take her out for chicken wings. Don't take them out for ribs. Nothing that you have to eat with your hands that you're going to like, is there something in my teeth, the entire thing? And then one of you is doing the thing where you're like this, and they're like, wait, do I have something in my nose? What's going on? You don't know.
Yeah. To go back to the coworker thing, I think I'm going to cover all of my bases in one go.
Cover the whole thing. I don't care.
I think there are scenarios in which you could date your coworker. I think they're very specific. Like, you would have to work at, like, for me personally, I would have to work at a giant, massive, like, Google size company. And this person would have to be on a team that I do not interact with in any way to like consider it. Or I feel like we're also potentially thinking like too specifically about this. I also feel like when I worked in food service and stuff like that, everybody dated all the time. So that also doesn't seem as weird. There's messiness potentially that too.
Oh,
but
there was. I was going to say it's funny because when I worked in food services, it was the exact same experience, and more often than not, it always resulted in something bad happening. Always resulted in someone screaming about in either behind in the kitchen or on the floor. Somebody wanting the other person to get fired, people getting fired, everyone getting fired because we're like, you can't be doing it. It was just bad. It was a bad situation.
But at that point, but everybody at least is doing it, so it doesn't feel as weird. I don't know.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think there was like a general vibe back when you were serving food, but I think it was also, I don't know. I don't want to overgeneralize with that. I just remember thinking, like, I saw people who were dating, and I remember thinking, oh, that's so cool. They get to date. They're at work, and then it went bad. And I was like, oh no, this is a bad idea. This is how people pay their rent. So like, just maybe don't mix those two things in.
Do you have more to say, Joe?
Oh, for food wise, I think it like depends on the people. Like, what do you like? What does she like? What do they like? Like, I think that kind of dictates it. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever thought this like in depth about it. But
what's everybody's opinion on like the whole first date having a meal? Because I sometimes think that's a little bit of a commitment,
I don't mind it because I do think that if you're serious about something, if you're like, this person is really cool, I want to spend time with them, I do think you should commit. And I don't mind committing to a dinner. But I don't think it needs to be like the French Laundry. I think you go, hey, let's go out on, it doesn't even have to be, in my opinion, a Friday or a Saturday night, because that's like, wow, you're really asking a lot of me, buddy. We just met. I think it could be a Wednesday or a Thursday. You could do a meal. You could do a comedy show. There's all sorts of things. You can go to movie I would say stay away from, because to me that seems very like a
Movie's
young
terrible
thing.
first date.
But I would say pick a place that's fun. And it doesn't have to be the most expensive place. It doesn't have to be the the nicest place where everyone has just something that's a fun vibe where you two can talk. Not like a crazy, this is bumping music back and forth, but like I'm thinking like a craft cocktail / bowling alley or like the axe throwing place, something that's like silly and like this is so ridiculous that it deflates any sort of tension whatsoever.
Mini golf.
Yes,
is the
mini golf
greatest
is so
first date.
fun.
And I've never I've mini golfed in like little ways before, but like I've never actually like done the whole thing until fairly recently. And it was two people I know, and essentially it was their first date, and me and Gia went with them. And that is something you shouldn't do. Go to mini golf on a first date, just the two of you, and you're gonna have a great time. Don't turn it into a group activity, because like what makes it special is there's that like friendly competition to it, right? And it's also a thing where it's like it's funny when you're bad or it's cool when you're good. Like there's no losing at mini golf. But when the group gets too big, the magic kind of goes away, and then I just end up looking really fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when you start
That's what
dunking on
happened
your
here.
friends. Here's a perfect example of a great first date, right? If you want to do a big group date, find a screening of 50 Shades of Grey. Bring your friend Nick, make him sit 3 rows behind you and eat 2 hot dogs without buns the entire time. And then 10 years later,
10
you'll
years
still be with
later.
her.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm kind of somewhere between Tim and Cooper, where I think if you don't know the person, committing to like a full dinner is like, ugh, I feel like is a lot, where it's
So
like,
just
I
drinks?
think
What do you
within like a
think?
20-minute time period, you're going to know whether or not this is a yay or a nay. And then if you're stuck there for an hour and a half, you're like, oh,
So
not
what do you
great.
think? Just cocktails? Like cocktails at a fun mini golf place, or cocktails
Yeah,
at
I think an open-ended first date where if you are feeling it, then you have options of things to do after is good.
yeah.
But I also am a big fan of dates as activities where they're interactive, because then I feel like you're not like, so if you can do something, then you're not like as stuck in your head about getting stressed out or overthinking your responses to things and all of that stuff.
Right, because you have that moment every time with the first date where like this, like you in the back of your brain, like this is going south. And you're like, oh, the waiter hasn't even taken our order yet.
Yeah. And you like look at your watch and then you see them looking at their
Oh,
watch. You're like, oh,
no.
this is bad.
I'll never forget. I think I've told this story before. This is way before I dated D, but I went on a first date with someone. I don't even know how we met. I think we met at a bar, and I was like, we should go out, yada yada. And we went out, and within 5 minutes, it was very obvious that neither of us had any interest in the other person. And I'll never forget, we ate as fast as humanly possible, and afterward, we walked out, and I was just like, do you want to go get a drink? And she was like, do you? And I'm like, no. And she goes, I don't either. And I was like, can we just go home? Like, can I just go home? She's like, yeah, let's just go our separate ways. And I was like, I gotta go. She's like, I gotta go too. That was it. It was such a weird, raw, real moment where I was like, this is what adulting must be. Where you just have to be honest with the person across from you so as not to waste their time or your time anymore. It was good. I don't know.
I agree.
I digress. Okay.
So yeah, we didn't help any.
We didn't answer. Yeah.
No, not even a little bit.
No, I think we
No,
did.
I-
Listen,
yeah.
if you're gonna take this person out, take them out to a fun. Mini golf is fun, a fun restaurant, or if you want to keep it super low key, just a cocktail thing. Find a nice bar that has good craft cocktails, something that's good, and you both can meet up there after work or something, or on a day, and hang out for a few minutes, have a cocktail, and see if there's anything there. And if
Even
not,
like a brewery, I think could be fun too, when you get like
Yeah.
flights and you can do like tastings, stuff like that.
no,
think that's, like, a
this
good
is
casual
brewery
thing.
that does this hypothetical brewery have nachos?
Yeah, it does.
Can you make those nachos out of tater tots?
No, that's the hard line. Just
Joey, I'm
normal
sorry.
nachos.
I'm gonna end this date right here. I'm gonna cut this date out. Tachos are a must, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen.
Nick, I love you so much. I see Nick's doing that thing now. He's just talking about like looking at the watch. He knows, he's like, oh, we should probably go a little longer, but I don't have anything to say right now.
I got nothing
Is that
else.
what's happening?
Yeah, it's exactly what's happening. We're 53 minutes in. I'm like, we're just in that weird soft spot where I'm like, that was a nice lull in the conversation. I could wrap it up and go into the post show.
No, let's do
Or we
one
could
more,
go 7
baby.
more.
Now
You want to
we're
do another
here.
question?
Yeah.
Damn it, I gotta find one. Okay, Tim Vamp, talk about tap dancing.
Cooper, give us a question. What is a question you want to ask for us to discuss? Don't overthink this. What question's in your mind right now?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any stories involving crows? Because a crow just hit my window right now, and that's
do,
in my
actually.
mind.
I do as well.
I also
Nick,
have
you
a
wanna
crow
go
story.
first?
Let's all tell a crow story.
Okay, we're gonna tell crow stories. Sure. I mean, mine's less of a crow story, more of everyone should watch The Sandman. It's a really good show on Netflix, and at one point there's a raven in it that gets mistaken for a crow, and he's like, "I'm not." It's Patton Oswalt, and he's like, "I'm not a crow. I'm a raven. There's a big difference." And I'm like, I can't tell the difference, but I want everyone
don't
to
think
watch
I
that
knew
show
that
because I
they
think it's very good.
We're different.
Totally
There's
different.
there's so many comments in your guys' videos about Sandman. By the way, everyone's
About-
like, "Why are they not talking about Sandman?"
Exactly, guys, and I'll be the
So there
first
you go.
person to tell you. I'm
You're
talking
welcome,
about
everybody.
Sandman.
We
Watch
did it.
Sandman. It's really good. Watch Game of Thrones. It's really good. Tim, what's your crow story?
So I've told this story before on shows, but when we were little in San Francisco, there ebbs and flows of bird problems every couple years, where there'll be like birds fucking like flock here for the winter or some shit. I don't know how it works, but there's like birds, and then sometimes they get angry, and like sometimes their houses are like fucking like getting like knocked down by gentrification and stuff. You know, it's like a whole thing. But when we were little, I remember that there was a couple really bad bird seasons where birds were just straight up attacking people. Now, this gets extra scary growing up in San Francisco because of the Alfred Hitchcock movie, The Birds, which was a birds horror movie that took place in San Francisco. So I was
Bodega
born
Bay.
and
Bodega
raised
Bay.
here.
Close enough.
Sorry, what?
Close
Bodega
enough.
Bay.
Bodega Bay, but it's close enough.
Yeah, the areas, right?
The Bay
So
Area.
exactly. And I remember being a kid, like, you know, going up north to Marin and stuff. And then my mom showed me that movie. I'm like, why the fuck would you show me this movie? I'm 5 years old, terrified of these birds. Anyways, a couple years later, we're at Mountain Lake Park, this iconic playground near my old house. And my brother, Cool Greg, used to have really curly big hair. I mean, he kind of does now still when he
Still
like
does,
lets
yeah.
it go. Like, so imagine Cool Greg's like crazy hair, but on a tiny little Cool Greg, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
these displaced birds got so upset, and they would fly. They thought his head was a nest.
Yeah.
And like these crows would come
dang.
down, and it was the most terrifying thing ever because we're just fucking living the birds. And I don't know. I don't know what that taught me, but it taught me not to trust somebody, you know? But it was terrifying.
Birds?
And like I have many, it wasn't even just one day. This happened like throughout our lives because there's again these bird seasons. But I'll never forget this one time at the playground of these multiple birds just running after my brother, and me and a group of my friends like pretty much having to like treat him like the president, you know? And just like trying to
guard him
swat
like you
these
were
fucking
Secret
things. Yeah,
Service.
it was
Wow.
terrifying.
Dang. Okay. Joey, any crow stories?
I have no bird stories. I have no traumatic.
Man, I thought you
bird
lived your life,
incidents.
Joey. You need to get out there and start
No.
living.
Yeah, apparently I spent too much time in the suburbs. No traumatic bird stories.
Okay.
Cooper,
We'll close this.
wait, dude, is
I'm-
is the bird alive?
I don't know. It's gone. But I do have one crow story.
Ooh,
If you will
Crow me up.
indulge.
Sharon Cheryl.
So this happened last year. I'm walking around the streets of Vancouver. I feel something hit like the back of my head, and it feels like someone just tossed a tennis ball at the back of my head. And I look around expecting to see like a friend of mine just standing near me for some reason throwing tennis balls at me. I don't know why. I'm like, what else would it be? I look down and there's a dead crow at my feet.
Oh, that's
Now-
a bad omen.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. So I look down and its like chest is just like ripped open, and I get filled with just utter dread and fear just from seeing this dead body. I look up and see just tons of like crazy crows like flapping around in the tree above me. And so I literally ran because I was afraid of this corpse for some reason. And then when I got to the end of the block, I was just trying to like piece it all together. And I was like, what could have happened here? Like this bird, it was definitely the dead body that hit me in the head.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
you
what
have
were they
idiot
doing?
flu.
Were they like, because like it wasn't hard enough that caused the body to rip open. So were they like eating their own friend and then like dropped it on me as a prank? I don't know what was going on, but that's my crow story. Unsolved mystery, I'll say.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's fucked up because the narratives you start building in your head of like what
Yeah.
could have happened, man. Was
he like a
it-
traitor crow? Or-
I know, right?
Oh
Do they
my
like
God.
do weird things to in crow funerals? I don't know.
Maybe it was like one of those, you know, crows are always a part of like witch shit. So maybe it was like a sacrifice.
Like a Salem witch thing.
Yeah.
Like a Stephen King thing. More than likely, it was just the devil. Just the devil cursing you. And that's how it's gonna go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Kind of Funny podcast, ending with a banger of a crow story from Cooper there. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know what your perfect first date is. And let us know. Actually, come back. What I want you to do is go watch Bulletproof. Come back. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments below. If you're watching this when it's in a few weeks or a month from now when it's out on streaming services, remember Venmo Cooper $5. Give me 50 cents on top of that as my 10% finder's fee.
Bad timing. I know you're ending right now, but can you
Okay.
also go? Can you go wish list my game on Steam if you like video games? Maybe you do. I'm making a video game called Billy Saves the World. Go to Steam right now. Wish list it. It's a fun
Sick.
platformer.
Sure, that sounds fun. Everyone go wishlist that. When do we have any release date or any
Next year sometime.
Next year sometime.
I'm just trying to build up as many wish lists as possible because I don't want to release and just disappear within a second.
That's awesome. I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
Actually, when I get off, that's super cool. Congratulations on that. Now I want to talk about that for a little bit more. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do that in the post show that starts after I finish this sentence.